So I guess there's a couple of new Toho Ultimates figures to talk about. So let's start with the good stuff. Okay, so here you got Space Godzilla, the Super Godzilla 16-bit version. So here you have Space Godzilla decoed up in an homage to the Super Godzilla character. Now this is playing on the idea that Space Godzilla, like the actual character himself, his design was inspired by Super Godzilla. So they do share some physical traits, like in terms of shape and silhouette. But what if you took Space Godzilla and actually colored him up like the video game character? And honestly, I like this. I think that the coloration, I love the little touch of purple on the tummy. I like the color of his skin, but the green is where it really pops. So I am a big fan of this colorway, and I think it looks good. I do kind of wish that the shoulders were bright green like the Mondo did when they interpreted this character. I understand why they didn't do it because Super Godzilla himself didn't have green shoulders, but I feel like this is Space Godzilla, like you should do the bright green. Like I'll take as much of that bright green as I can get. I think it would have looked good on this guy. So and then you have the packaging here, which is similar to the poster variant from last year. Big fan of this. Yeah, this is probably the best thing to come out of Godzilla Day, unfortunately. So there's Space Godzilla. He's in stock now and ready to go. Let's move on to Toho Ultimates Wave 6. So here is the group as they are, and we're gonna do these one at a time. So let's we're gonna start high and then we're gonna work our way down. Kiryu Mechagodzilla. So here he is. Stands 8.2 inches high, 4.6 inches wide, and then 10 inches long. So there's the length on Kiryu. The tail, I don't know if, like, movie accuracy, if Kiryu's tail's longer, it probably is. I'm not sure, actually. But here you have Kiryu. Now, he has the normal head, he has the red head, he has the removable backpack, and then the arm gauntlet with the knives and stuff. The panel is open here, but as you can see in other photos, the panel is closed. There's no mentioning here of the the chest panel being able to open on hinges. So I'm going to guess that that's a feature and not an interchangeable thing, sort of like the plasma grenade on Wave 2. And I'm also going to guess that he's supposed to have a hinge jaw and that it's not mentioned here. Now, something to note about Godzilla 2002 and then Kiryu as well. From my understanding, these renders were actually made a while ago, like a good long while ago. And so the renders themselves might not reflect some of the changes that we are hoping to see in terms of articulation. So things like a hinge jaw and the tail articulation cut that we've seen in -1. Now, like, you can take my word for that, but all we have to go off of is the solicitation. If the solicitation does not mention a hinge jaw, we shouldn't work under the assumption that there is. You know, it'd be a nice surprise, and I think that is the case. But no mention of a hinge jaw or the improvements to the tail. But they are showing you that the chest panel can be open or closed, so whatever capacity that is, it does seem to be part of the figure. So that's Kiryu. The one big criticism I've seen with Kiryu is that his hips are a little bit wide, and I think that is true. But overall, I think he looks solid for a kaiju action figure. Now let's stick with the 2002 movie and move over to Godzilla 2002. Now this shot here, this is not great. There's no other way I can say it. This is not great. It just looks kind of strange. I saw somebody point out that he looks like Slinky the dog from Toy Story, and yeah, he does look like that. Here he comes with I get like a half emerged beam. I don't understand what reference this is, but I know that this was included in the initial drawings that Kyle did up. So I'm sure that it's a reference to a specific moment, but I don't know. I haven't seen these movies in a long time. Alternate hands is interesting to see because we haven't gotten alternate hands with a new sculpt since, I guess, I don't know if Century's End came with them actually. But it was kind of interesting to see the new hands and that being included when -1 had increased tail articulation, but one of the rationales was like, oh, we didn't have to inject new hands, so we were able to buff up the tail. So yeah, I guess he's got the alternate hands. Now, I will say this. Okay, after so much back and forth about Haya and their Godzilla 2002 and the head not being right and all that stuff, I kind of like that this just looks like a toy. Like, I'm not saying that it looks great. I'm saying that I like that it just looks like a toy, okay? So, that's Godzilla 2002. It exists. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. Okay, so now we have Shin Godzilla. Now, Shin Godzilla is the first Godzilla, or the first Toho Ultimate, rather, to not be worked on by the previous creative team. So Kyle Wadaga doing his concepts, or I'm assuming like Dave White doing his sculpting. And here is Shin Godzilla. Now, at a preliminary glance, I would say that the silhouette looks good. I actually do like the overall shape of Shin, but I think it's when you get into some of the finer details that it starts to come undone a little bit. So, I mean, first of all, he has a heat ray, the purple heat ray, for reasons that are unclear to me, right? Like, why wouldn't you save this for a purple version of Shin? Like, it's Shin Godzilla. You're going to be able to get a whole bunch of colorways out of this guy. And then as you look closer here, I'm not sure how well this is going to come up on. Okay, there we go. He has like shark teeth. If you took the teaser from a couple of days ago and you brightened it up, you kind of saw this, and I thought, oh, that's kind of weird. But, you know, I think it'll look a little bit better once the mouth opens a little bit. Turns out there's no hinge jaw, which is not great. Shin, you know, he's got a lot of stuff going on, so maybe it makes sense for Shin, but a hinged jaw would have been nice. But he's got shark teeth. Like, the head's got me feeling like I need a bigger boat or something. You know? And then it's not super clear on this figure where the articulation cuts are. Like, I don't see pretty much anything in the body here. It's very, like, I feel like the thing they've put in this solicitation specifically is just one big static piece. And I saw people saying, like, is Shin just a statue? Is that how they were able to hit the $95 mark? Is he just a statue? Well, I think when you get to, like, here, I hate this new interface so much. Like, I just want to zoom in, brother. Like, that looks like a shoulder cut, and that looks like an elbow cut. But I don't see anything else down here. Again, man, like, it just looks like shark teeth. So I think that Shin's overall silhouette is good. I have questions about what the articulation is going to be, and the choice for teeth is quite bizarre. It is quite bizarre. Now, I do know that Shin was traditionally sculpted, if that wasn't obvious by what we've covered here. So there were no CGI assets used. See, in like this image, his head's at a bit of a tilt. So clearly there's some kind of head articulation, but I can't tell. And then there's the shoulders again. Yeah, legs are not very... On the other guys, or at least on Godzilla 2002, because Kiryu's got a lot going on here, you can very clearly see articulation cuts. Shin, it's not so obvious. And also, it doesn't mention anything about articulation for Shin in the description. He is 8.5 inches tall, which I think puts him just under Destoroyah. I can't remember how tall Destoroyah is. So, that's Shin. Honest, like, if I'm being completely honest with you guys, but also with myself, I am whelmed. I'll be posting the video that I recorded with Brian last week, shortly after this. And we had a really good discussion actually about, you know, improved articulation coming, and how -1, like the movie, not the toy, really brought about like this new wave of Godzilla collecting and Godzilla interest and all that good stuff. And it was a really exciting conversation. And then he ended it by saying, and ahead of time, he told me ahead of time, right, that wave 3 would be Godzilla 2002, Kiryu, and Shin Godzilla. And when he mentioned Shin, I was like, holy shit, like that's a big deal. And I just, again, completely honest, I don't intend to be an asshole about it. I'm just not vibing with it like I thought I would. There's a gaming YouTuber, Luke Stevens, who I don't think he coined the term, but he definitely promotes the term that hype makes you stupid. And if I'm being real, I feel that right now. I feel kind of stupid. Yeah. Just whelmed. So I guess in this image you can kind of see Kiryu's tail creaking up a little bit. So if for those that are interested, I'll post the video with Brian shortly thereafter. One of the big things that we talked about, and he talks about specifically, is that they are looking to improve the tail articulation in their Godzillas beyond what was done with -1, which again is nice. It's a nice notion to have and a good thing to hear, but there's nothing shown here. Like, how am I supposed to know? You know, I would love for this to be -1 or better, but I can't see anything, right? And even the greatest tail in the world is not going to fix the fact that he's got shark teeth. Like, why does he have shark teeth? I think it's like it's a funny thing, right? And it plays into the idea that we can have fun with these figures, but I don't know. I think part of it might also be that, like, I've waited to have good Shin Godzilla representation on my shelf, and after seeing how well Super 7 did -1 with the CGI assets, you would hope that they would have access to the CGI assets for Shin Godzilla, and they just don't. And so they did this, and whoever did it, like, they sure they put in their best efforts. I don't think that the solicitation is doing the figure any justice, and whatever they decided with the teeth and including a purple heat ray with the standard version, it's just making me scratch my head. It's a real head scratcher. Oh. Yeah. I feel like if Godzilla 2002 and Kiryu were a little bit less expensive. Honestly, Godzilla 2002, I personally love this shot. I love this shot. I love this being a Godzilla 2002 toy. I love the toy aesthetic. I don't love it for $95. Real shit, okay? I'm being completely honest. $95 is too much for what I'm seeing here, but I do like the aesthetic. Kiryu, like, what's your I guess there is a Haya figure coming for Kiryu, but an 8.2 inch tall Kiryu figure that's got this stuff and an interchangeable head. Okay, $95, like, I can get behind that, especially with the aftermarket's kind of cracked right now. Shin being $95 is like the saving grace, the price tag being $95, to be honest. If I had a better sense of what the articulation would be, like, maybe my reaction would be different. Yeah, I'm just rambling at this point. So those are the Ultimates drops for Godzilla Day from Super 7. I think that the Super Godzilla inspired Space Godzilla is the best one. I think Kiryu is runner up. And then these two are third. Let's say tied third for different reasons. But also they got Super Duper Plush Wave 3. I think that this Hedorah is cute. I'm gonna buy the Hedorah for sure. And I actually have to buy the Mothra because I got the Godzilla 1965. I need the Mothra too. So yeah, that's that. Oh, Luke Stevens was right, gang. What a day. Anyway. I've been KaijuCanuck. I'll be posting the video with Brian a little bit later this afternoon. And I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.